everyone, welcome into the American Huddle alongside Andy Gresh. I'm Haley Outen. We're happy to have you with us as we look ahead to the final week of the regular season. Of course, all eyes on the Houston-Memphis showdown Friday, noon Eastern on ABC. Biggest question for Houston, Andy, will Ed Oliver play?
This is tough because what Ed Oliver has to manage now, Haley, is the NFL and the fact that he might be a top 5 pick with big money, or does he play and risk injury? Now, this has nothing to do with Houston, the American Athletic Conference, or college football as a whole. This is a guy who's now in a situation where it's a business decision. Is it right for me to go out and play? There's the competitor. You were a collegiate athlete, as was I. There's the competitor in us that says, go out there and finish with your team. But we never had the position to make, $40 million with the stroke of a pen, which is what Ed Oliver may have a choice of doing. So I think he doesn't play. Now, if he does, that is bad news for Memphis because we know they want to come in and run the ball. So if Ed Oliver decides to stay out, it's got nothing to do whether there's a jacket on the sideline or not. It has everything to do with the amount of dollars that are going to be stuffed in his pockets come NFL draft day. So I think we need to be sensitive to that if he doesn't play, there's a reason behind it. And if it was your kid, I don't think you'd be standing there screaming, you got to play.
A lot on the line, of course, as the winner of this game will go on to play in the American Championship game. And what we do know about Houston is quarterback D'Eriq King suffered a season-ending injury last week. Clayton Tune expected to get the start at quarterback. What is the key for a freshman quarterback in the biggest game of the season?
Don't soil yourself. And I know that it's one of those things where it's like, well, there's some real good analysis there, but it really is true. Go in and run the offense. I mean, again, he came in the second half and did what he had to do. But when you have a true freshman, Haley, and you're preparing them throughout the week, it becomes about them. What are you comfortable with? What do you like to run? What do you want to see in the red zone? You get the input of the quarterback. Coaches are going to lead the way, but they're going to listen to the kid and say, hey, I like this here, I like this here, I can make this throw. So you got to tailor it to Clayton Tune somewhat, but at the end of the day, he's still going to go out and execute. He's going to have to throw the ball probably 25 times for them to be able to win, and it can't be a stat line of 105 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Houston ain't going to win that way. So go in, do your job, and just do enough to be able to get the win. You don't have to be Superman.
For Memphis, they lost twice to UCF last year. They lost by 1 point in the regular season. So UCF has kind of had their number here the past couple of years. How hungry and motivated is this Memphis team going to be to get back to this championship game?
You know, Haley, when we were here in September, early October, and talking about Memphis, it was, might be a bit of a season lost, or they may not live up to expectations. Well, now they can get to where they wanted to be with just 1 win by getting to the American Conference Championship game. And regardless of who's running the ball, Houston's got to find a way to stop that Memphis run game. And look, Brady White's done a nice job of quarterback, but I don't think they want to rely on him for 50 throws to have to turn around and go win the game. And look, let's be honest, no D'Eriq King, Memphis catches a break because with D'Eriq King, they could put 40 or 50 on anybody. Now this game might be played in the high 20s, low 30s, which fits right into the way Memphis would want to play the game stylistically for them to be able to win.
Andy, in your opinion, who wins the West Division?
Boy, this is tough because when you have such a young quarterback, like I want to pick Houston, but with such a young quarterback, it makes me, uneasy queasy. I'm still going to go Houston to win a close one, but if Memphis runs the ball and they can possess it for 35 minutes, don't be surprised if they come away with the win. I'll pick Houston.
That's bold. You think Houston wins on the road in Memphis?
I do. I think Houston
right.
finds a way to win on the road. They showed a lot of maturity last week, and they've been building stuff down there. And, again, there's 2 big sort of qualifiers. How will the freshman quarterback play? And if Ed Oliver suits up, that's a game changer for Houston.
Biggest game on the schedule in the American. Again, that's Friday, noon Eastern on ABC. Memphis, Houston, winner punches their ticket to the American Championship. UCF already has that East Division title and that spot in the game, but this week there's a little bit more on the line, and that's pride. It's the war on I-4, UCF and USF. Bulls have been struggling as of late. How do you expect this game to turn out?
Yeah, I think UCF is going to, in a big stage, war on I-4. A lot of people are going to be paying attention. I think UCF really puts their flag in the ground and says, we've got a winning streak. We've got a Heisman-worthy quarterback, or at least it was at the beginning of the year. Our football team is playing well in all three phases. You better pay attention to us. With all due respect to UCF defensively, they just had so many issues this year. I can't see UCF not scoring 35 to 40 on them.
For Cincinnati, even though they lost this past week at UCF, still a remarkable season for Luke Fickell's crew. If they beat ECU, they'll move to 10-2 on the season. How significant is that 10-win mark?
Massive. And our guy Corey here, who works in digital, said that he heard a stat from Luke Fickell that this might be like the 10th or 11th time Cincinnati's got 10 wins since the 1800s, for God's sakes. I mean, that's really going back. That's really motivating the players. You know, our first 10-win season came in 1892. And kids are like, what? What are you talking? He meant to say 1982? But it would be a huge accomplishment for Cincinnati. It would put them in position to go to a pretty nice size bowl close to New Year's Day. I love what Luke Fickell has done. I know they got whacked by UCF last week, and hey, UCF is UCF. But Cincinnati getting double-digit wins, that's fantastic. And it's big for the American as well.
Speaking of bowl games, if Tulane can beat Navy at home, Fritz's group will become bowl eligible, and especially how the Green Wave missed bowl eligibility last year by literally inches. How significant would this achievement be?
Huge. And I think for Willie Fritz's crew, they've got to have that in the back of their head. We were so close last year, and look at what happened. Let's not let that happen again. Now, they've got to beat a Navy team who, look, we know they're tough to prepare for, and at any point in time, they could run for 500 yards and make your life miserable. For Tulane, I think they got to go in saying, we just got to outscore. Like, whatever number our defense gives up, we got to find a way to score one more point. And that might be 21 or it might be 51. But find a way to get it done and use that, what happened last year, as motivation for this year.
When you look at this West Division, it has been absolutely crazy this year. In fact, up until this past week, Tulane was in contention to play in the American Championship, as was SMU. So the Mustangs also looking to become bowl eligible. If they can get to that 6-win mark this season, how significant is that for head coach Sonny Dykes in his first season at the helm?
There you go, and you nailed it. First year, new coach coming in and getting it done. UCF was at a little bit of a different point than where SMU was when Sonny Dykes walked in the door. You know, they get Tulsa on the road, should be a game they should win, and I like the fact that that quarterback situation is settled down. I mean, SMU is a little helter-skelter. It's the whole, you don't know what you're really going to get, but they're playing hard. And I think you go into Tulsa playing hard, they should be able to take care of business.
It's going to be an exciting week of the regular season. We'll have coverage, of course, on Houston and Memphis Friday at noon Eastern, so be sure to follow along on Twitter at @theamerican_FB.
Whoa, whoa, before we're done.
You want me to ask you about Thanksgiving?
No, I don't. I'm actually going to ask you a question about Thanksgiving.
That's not how this works.
Well, sorry. I have the ability to just steamroll this whole thing. Look, I'm a fatso, so people are like, perfect plate, just probably load it up for Tubbs and he'll be fine. The perfect Thanksgiving plate for Haley is what?
Turkey, stuffing, cranberry, a roll, just lots of mashed potatoes, pumpkin pie. I mean, a lot. Just a big full plate. I have to also like taste test everything. So.
Whoa, time out. What do you mean? Like you walk through and like
a little bit of this, a little bit of that, just kind of go through.
Oh, do you do a nibble? Like walk around with a plastic fork and be like, let me try this before I throw it on my plate?
No, I have better manners than that, but.
Manners at Thanksgiving?
That's what I have to say, right?
You're practically sticking your face in the mashed potatoes like everybody else and blowing bubbles on Thanksgiving Day.
Didn't you have some secret recipe last year for Thanksgiving?
Well, I mean, I have a lot of little doodads.
Was it like a mashed potatoes Thanksgiving or something?
Oh, yeah. Well, I have different...
That you stole from Cheesecake Factory?
That is true, yes. I had...
Tell me about that.
At one point in time, I had someone in my life who did work there, and I know, like, their way to make, like, the awesome mashed potatoes. But, look, you don't get to be this size without knowing how to cook.
The key ingredient for whatever you're making on Thanksgiving is butter.
Butter?
Butter.
And a little
Butter
bit of gravy.
makes everything better.
Yeah, of course.
Butter and gravy. Well, now
I look like I eat sticks of it, for crying out loud. So, I mean, please.
That's not true. Too hard on yourself. All right, we hope you all have an amazing Thanksgiving. Be sure to try a little bit of everything, because it's the one week a year where like calories just don't count.
Sure, they don't. It's like watching all the games in the American. There's a little bit of everything for everyone.
That's right. Leftovers on Friday. You won't want to miss it. Houston and Memphis. We'll see you back here next week. We're going to break down everything American Championship. We'll see you then.